Hey guys, this is part 2 of Introduction to Psychedelics. I'll start with talking about my introduction to psychedelics. My first psychedelic experience, I was 17 years old. I had procured 2 perforated tabs of LSD. I took it, and after 30 minutes I thought, wow, this is terrible. I don't feel anything at all. I don't get what all the hype is about. And so I went outside to smoke a cigarette and proceeded to look at the trees and notice, wow, it is really windy outside. The trees are just moving everywhere. Then I realized that it wasn't windy at all and that I was tripping pretty hard. I went upstairs. I went into the shower for about an hour and a half. And if you've ever looked at water and seen the rainbow that comes out of certain water patterns in light, that's how every water droplet looked to me. Every water droplet had an infinite fractaling aura of colors like a rainbow, and I had dolphins and fish on my shower curtain, and they were coming off the shower curtain and swimming around me in circles while I was seeing all these fractals and colors, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And after it was done, I was like, I didn't lose my mind. I didn't see scary things. My brain didn't bleed. I didn't jump out of a window. Why were people telling me this stuff? If it's not true, it's all propaganda. And the truth is, set and setting and your intentions of why you're taking these compounds is the most important thing. And that's why I'm creating this channel, because I see these YouTube channels where people are titling stuff like 24-hour trip from hell or existential crisis, and I'm like, well, why were you live streaming yourself tripping? That's awful. Why would you do that to yourself? Why were you taking it at a party? Why were you taking it to get fucked up? That's not what these are used for. If you want to get fucked up, you should just get fucked up drinking alcohol or some other nootropic. You don't do that with these compounds. These are entheogens. They are mind expanding. And that's what people need to know before they take these compounds. So, as an introduction to psychedelics, you need to ask yourself, why am I taking this? Are you taking it to expand your mind? Are you taking it for spiritual purposes? Are you taking it to solve an issue you have? Are you taking it maybe to heighten your awareness? Are you taking it for depression, anxiety, PTSD, trauma? These are all legitimate reasons to take it. And that's pretty much about it. If you want to just take it to get out of yourself and to get messed up, I suggest you go elsewhere, because it will not be a beneficial experience. And the lies being perpetrated, well, they're not lies. It's what really happened to them, but it's not the truth of what psychedelics really do, because people are taking them incorrectly and then acting as if that is the authentic experience that happens when you take psychedelics. No, you misused it. Just like, I like to use this analogy. I go to Home Depot and I buy a hammer. I come home and I take the hammer and I break my kneecap with it. Then I go back to Home Depot after I got out of hospital and I say, listen, I need to return this hammer. It didn't work at all. All it did was break my kneecap, which they would then promptly say, well, why did you do that to yourself? Why did you use it incorrectly? You could have built a beautiful house, but instead you chose to break your kneecap with it. The hammer is a tool. You could bash someone's head in with it, or you could build a beautiful house. Psychedelics are the same. It's a tool. You can use it to heal so many problems. You can use it to expand your mind, or you could use it to try to escape from your problems, and you will have a terrible result. And there's so many YouTube channels that have so many views, and these people are just perpetuating misnomers about psychedelics. So as an introduction to psychedelics, I wanted to talk about the truth behind them. Another thing that's very important, if you've checked your motives for getting into it, is the set and setting. Don't take it in a social setting. I mean, I have so many friends. I've done this myself. I take a psychedelic, I'm at a party. The second it kicks in, what's the first thing that people say? I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And what do? They go off onto a hill, or they go off into the woods, and they just lay there and trip out and have a good time. It's because we're not meant to be taking it in anxiety-producing situations. There's a reason why at parties people are drinking, is because it lessens the anxiety. Why would you take something that would heighten your senses? It doesn't make sense. So if you're trying to take psychedelics for the first time, either go at it with a guide. If you feel comfortable, you can go at it alone. I would prefer for you to do it in nature. That's what I found most beneficial for me. But if you want, you can do it inside. But the trick is, you keep the lights off, you stay away from screens, okay? You listen to calm music, and you keep your eyes closed, and you accept the experience. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, just don't take it in social settings. And if you do take it in a social setting, make sure the people around you are your friends who love and care about you, or they're people also that you care about and that care about you, and maybe they're under the same experience as you, so you guys can relate on that level. You don't want to have some people tripping, some people not tripping. That can make it kind of weird, unless they are a guide, of course, which they know what you're going through. Now, the substance that I took for my introduction to psychedelics was LSD. LSD is a good introductory psychedelic in low doses. It can be very abrasive at higher doses, so you need to make sure that you are taking a low dose. What the first choice should be for people getting introduced to psychedelics would be psilocybin-containing mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. They're very common. They've been used for a very long time. They have a very low toxicity profile. There's nothing really bad that can happen when taking mushrooms correctly. And that would be the best introductory psychedelic for people who are listening. And I will go into more detail in the next video about psychedelic mushrooms. I'll break down the chemistry behind them, the pharmacology behind them, the history behind them, dosaging, what to expect, prodrugs, analogs of it. I'll break down all of it. But as an introductory video, I just wanted to talk about the best introductory psychedelic substances, and I would say number 1 is going to be psilocybin, number 2 is LSD, both in low doses for your first time. You can always go higher next time, but once you've taken a high dose, believe me, you cannot go lower. You are going to have to surrender to that experience, so it's best to start out low. Thank you guys for tuning in, and the next video will be about psilocybin exclusively and about all the things I talked about, so stay tuned.